Hello foodies, welcome into another video, and no, I didn't just get out of bed, you just got out of bed. Okay, fine. We both just got out of bed. How about that? So, today I wanted to do something really fun, something I had talked about on stream, but I had not gotten around to doing yet, which is I wanted to do a video called, What Does Your DBD Main Say About You? However, you may have noticed there are there are 60 characters, around 60 characters in DBD right now. So doing a video on that where I talk for any amount of time about each character would, you think about it, a minute a character, we're almost at an hour, right? So what I decided to do is we're going to break this up. We're going to do survivors, and then if this video does well, we'll do killers. So just giving you my thought process on that one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these in order from 1 to, I think, 30 or so once you factor in some of the legendary skins. And we're just going to go through them all. And before we go any further, just a little tiny reminder. These are my opinions. So if you dislike them, please go put a funny mean comment down below. Not just a mean comment, at least make it funny. And that way we can see how you guys feel about all this. Now, this is me not reading off a script. That would be just ridiculous. Let's start with number 1, Dwight Fairfield. Now, if you main Dwight, you likely see some of yourself within that character. Whether it's his nervous, introverted nature or his tendency to rise to the occasion when he needs to, something about Dwight's demeanor reminds you of yourself. I'd also wager that you likely have a pretty good sense of humor and enjoy dressing your character in over-the-top, silly cosmetics, which makes Dwight a dream pick. I lost my voice there. A dream pick for you. Above all else, Dwight is the perfect everyman, the embodiment of relatability and accessibility to the point that maining him will be all but a necessity for some. All but be a necessity for some. I wish I could speak English, man. Number 2, Meg Thomas. Much like the character they love, Meg mains tend to be competitive. They enjoy looping killers, slamming gens, and pulling off dumb techs. While not inherently toxic, Meg mains do have a habit of flaunting their superiority. They tend to be pretty good at the game, and they tend to want you to know it. For some, maining Meg may come down to relating her rural upbringing or, her history of running track or something like that. In fact, I'd wager that any real-life athlete playing DBD has about a 50-50 chance of playing as Meg, with probably David as the other option. Next up, we have Claudette Morel, which, if you want my extended thoughts on Claudette, click somewhere up here. We do have a video on Claudette. It's very, very good, and that's not arrogant to say. It's just true. It was a fun video. Anyway, there exist 3 distinctive branches of Claudette mains, and each one is as different from the other as night is from day. So branch 1 consists of baby survivors who picked Claudette because she comes with self-care, and they're dreadfully scared of taking literally any damage. Look for these survivors to be self-caring in a corner, even though the killer has thanatophobia, sloppy butcher, and colorophobia. Oh, and probably pentimento, just because why not, right? Next, you have the hyper-competitive players who use Claudette because of her subtle advantages over other characters. Even though they're competent at the game, look to them to immerse their way through most games with perks like urban immersion. I combined evasion and immersion. It's tragic. Lastly, you have the lore-friendly Claudette mains. These players serve as team moms and make sure to patch up any boo-boos their teammates receive. Of all the Claudettes, it is best to find yourself paired with branch 3s. Lastly, I'm cutting this one short, gamers. Next up, we have Jake Park. Jake mains are, to state it plainly, built different. Even more impressive than their skill is their undying hatred for the killer. Seriously, I don't know why Jake mains really seem to dislike killers, but whether they're sabotaging hooks, taking unnecessary aggro for the team, or just keeping the killer occupied just long enough to pop that perfect adrenaline, Jake mains are kind of psychotic. Alternatively, they might just like wearing cowboy hats and spacesuits, which, fair enough. Next up, we have Nia Carlson. People who main Nia likely watched Noob 3 when they first got into Dead by Daylight, and they are likely to enjoy playing as DBD's equivalent of a poison dart frog, in that they can either be as toxic as expected, or they can be not like most Nias and play in a chill kind of way. It should go without saying that cosmetics definitely mean a lot to Nia Maynes, and they're likely to own at least most of her catalog. Also, I can't fully place why I feel this. Maybe it's related to cosmetics, I'm not sure, but I get the idea that most Nia Maynes probably own or have owned a cat. Let me know down in the comments if I'm right on that one. It's kind of just a hunch, but she's got enough going on with cats that I think cat people are going to be drawn to this character. Next up, we have Laurie Strode. Obviously, I would assume most Laurie mains are fans of the Halloween franchise. Moreover, they probably appreciate Laurie's status within the world of horror. Other properties may have Scream Queens and Final Girls, but Laurie is the OG. She is the Scream Queen, the Final Girl. In playing as Laurie, her mains, they are able to play as one of horror's queens, as one of the most enduring leads the genre has ever seen. Bonus points if they're super into 70s culture, especially, you know, fashion staples such as big hair and high-waisted jeans. So that's bonus points, but I think it's mostly just liking Halloween. Next, we have Ace Visconti, and Ace mains do not give a damn, and not in a bad way either. Without doubt, Ace mains are some of the goofiest, most laid-back people a person can run into in the fog. Famous for their leopard print shirts, pink pants, and facial hair that prevents them from ever entering battle in preschool, Ace mains usually just want to mess around and have a good time. For them, winning is a subjective term. If anybody on your team is going to run Pebble or some other nearly useless perk just for laughs, expect it to be the Ace main. Next up, we have Left 4 Dead's Bill Overbeck. 60% of the time, Bill mains run BT every time. And why wouldn't they? Bill mains are the firemen of the survivor community, right? Running into all kinds of dangerous situations just to get their teammates out. As a survivor, I am always glad to see a Bill on my team because it lets me know that I won't be left to die on the hook. Noed and camping cannibals be damned. Bill mains are going for the save. When you see a Bill main, make sure to thank them for their service and maybe, just maybe, return the favor when they find themselves inevitably hooked after trying to sacrifice themselves for you. Next up, we have Fang Min. Whether they are cosmetic obsessed, hyper competitive, or they just want to play as the bunny gamer girl, all Fang mains have one thing in common. They are absolute gremlins. Seriously, playing as Fang Min is the most effective way of letting me know you drink G Fuel, your fingers are covered in Dorito dust, and at least once in your life, you've eaten an entire pizza over the sink like a rat. Getting kind of harsh here. As far as your skill level, hell if I know. You could be crazy good, crazy bad, crazy meh. It doesn't matter. I call Nia mains the poison dart frogs of DBD, and for Fang mains, I'm going to take it a step further. You are the entire Fortnite cosmetic shop crammed into one Dead by Daylight character. You sold your soul for endless cosmetics, but what did it cost you? Next up, David King. Playing as David King is not an easy task. He's loud, he's tall, and save for a few winners, his cosmetics tend to be as ugly as Charlotte's Choice in footwear. On the flip side, his teachable perks are amazing and can truly turn the tide of any game. From my perspective, David's obvious handicaps pair well with his meta perks to make him a premier selection for players who might want to take the game a little more seriously. Somehow, choosing to play as David is both choosing to play on easy mode and hard mode. Billy is also British, so if you still believe in the existence of such a country, big cartography has fooled you, then it's entirely plausible that English players may be more likely to choose David. Also, David is tall and muscular, so former COD players who definitely f***ed your mom are definitely going to choose him as their main. Next up, we have Quentin Smith, the proverbial pick-me girl of DBD mains. Quentin mains play as Quentin strictly so that they can go to message boards, Twitter posts, streamers' chats, just to say, actually, I play as Quentin, ooh, kawaii, so random. This, or they play him because they think Kyle Gallner, who played him in the movie, is hot, which, I mean, you know, sometimes, yeah, they're right, he's hot. He's definitely hot. So, or maybe they play Quentin because, like me, they like Wake Up and Pharmacy. Those are two of their top guilty pleasure perks. And they want to show love to the character that brought them into the game. Or maybe, wait a minute, there are a lot of reasons to main Quentin. He's not a pick-me girl, he's a gym, which is kind of surprising given what a nothing burger his character was in 2010's Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. So I guess good job on this one, Behavior. Nothing negative to say here. Speaking of nothing burgers, next up we have Detective Tapp, and who the hell mains Detective Tapp? I mean, really, the team at Behavior couldn't have gotten anyone more interesting when they acquired the Saw license. I get it. I get that the franchise isn't just bursting at the seam with the seams, plural, with well-written protagonists. But off the top of my head, I would have much rather seen Dr. Lawrence Gordon, sorry, he's a doctor, the criminally underutilized Detective Carey, or even slow-ass motherfucking Jeff. In fact, Carey makes way more sense since, spoiler alert for a movie that came out 16 years ago, Amanda rigged her trap and ensured her undeserved demise. But no, that would have made sense. That would have been too cool. Digging deeper into Detective Carey's backstory might have been too satisfying, so instead, we got Danny Glover's Tapp, a character who goes from boring to crazy to dead in the span of one movie. He was also in the Saw video games, which I thought we weren't supposed to talk about, but I guess not. I guess those are back on the menu, so that's cool. They weren't good, but hey, they were games. Say what you will about the Saw games, and you will, but they were games. They were video games. They existed. So what do I say about Tapp mains, though? Nothing, because they don't exist, and nobody in the comments can convince me otherwise. Bring Carey to the game, you cowards. Thanks for tenacity. Next! Next up, we have Kate Denson. It's okay. You can admit it. You can, come on. It's food. I'm food, man. I'm the food dude. You can admit it. You chose Kate Denson because she's the hot one. The type of protagonist that populated seemingly every 2000 slasher film. Or maybe it was because you're just a big fan of country music, but given my own experiences in DBD, I'd be shocked if the game's player base was just littered with country fans. So it's probably the first thing. And who could blame you? Maining Kate comes with plenty of benefits that popular picks have, but she also comes with less criticism. She gets plenty of cosmetics like Fang or Meg, but isn't generally seen as being nearly as toxic as those mains. She's also relatively small and quiet, so there are gameplay advantages. And then there are plenty of good reasons to choose Kate as your main. But you just gotta know, everybody's going to assume that you chose her because of her looks, which, come on. Like I said, be honest with me, you probably did. Next up, we have one of my personal favorites, Adam Francis. And right off the bat, Adam Francis mains are cool. Say it with me. Adam Francis mains are cool. Don't you love it when people clap at you as they say something? It just adds so much validity to their point, doesn't it? I really made myself look good there. Anyway, there are a select few that realize just how great this character is. They are casual Pebble appreciators, the true gentlemen of the fog, by the way, and likely equate Adam to that one teacher they really got along with. And I hope everybody had that, like that one teacher they just really vibed with. Adam mains are chill as hell, and likely to play the game just to have a good time. It's not about looping the killer forever because they want to waste the killer's time. It's about looping the killer forever because looping the killer is the fun part of the game, unless you're just a casual M1 enjoyer. And then, hey, I'm not going to call you the gentleman of the fog, but you know, whatever, you do you. Obviously, Jamaican players are especially likely to choose Adam as their main, given that he's one of the few outwardly Jamaican characters in fiction who's not like just a giant stereotype. So again, props to Behavior for that one. Well done, well written. I can't believe I'm giving Behavior so much credit in this one. Overall, if you main Adam Francis, I think you're a cool person. I think you're laid back. I think you're cool. And I really, really hope that I run into you in the fog. I wish I saw you more often. Next up, Jeff Johansen. So, full disclosure, right? We gotta come clean on this one. Gotta get something off my chest. I am a Jeff Johansen main, so it's tough to be objective on this one. But my counterpoint, what about this list has been objective? These are just my opinions, baby. That's the dumbest bit, so dumb. Jeff mains are probably a lot like me, actually. We love metal music, like dogs. We prefer the cold weather. And most importantly, we have glorious, glorious dad bods. If you missed mine, I walked in at the start of the video. Take it back, you'll see. Like Adam Maynes, Jeff Maynes tend to be chill as hell and are far less likely to BM, whether that's teabagging or clicky or, you know, what would you call it? Like alert spamming, where you just keep vaulting back and forth, like fast vaulting back and forth to make the killer, you know, basically go deaf. They're much less likely to do all that, because they generally just play the game to have a good time. Also, like Adam, I'd like to see more Jeffs out in the fog, but I doubt that will happen until behavior gives my boy some better cosmetics, because, oh gosh, Jeff's top of the line cosmetics, they're pretty good, but falls off pretty quickly. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Jeff. Next up, we have Jane Romero. When it comes to Jane Maynes, I think there are a few good reasons a person might choose this character as their main. Though her exact country of origin is not specified, Jane is Latin American, which I think would obviously make her a great pick for people who are from those cultures, you know, be it Mexico, Ecuador, Honduras, you know, Colombia. I mean, obviously, those are all varying cultures, but if you're Latin American, you likely see a Latin American character and say, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that. She's also a curvy girl, which probably appeals to both people who appreciate curvy girls and those of a similar build. Lastly, Behavior's implementation of jiggle physics probably brought a whole new host of Jane Maynes out of the woodwork. A word of warning, though, because I like Jane. I do. I like Jane. But a word of warning, right? Don't expect nice post-game chats from Jane players. For whatever reason, a character that was created almost solely to emphasize body positivity and acceptance of others and all that, I find that this character has drawn a strange concentration of just acid-tongued players. Just my personal experience, but damn if I haven't noticed it. Next up, we have Ashley J. Williams. Choosing to main Ashley J. Williams means that you are, above all else, old school. Regardless of your age, you definitely appreciate the classics. In fact, if I may be so bold, I'm going to go out on a limb and make a few predictions about you. I am going to assume John Carpenter's The Thing is in your top 10 movies of all time. I'm going to assume that you have a real appreciation for beautiful cars, especially muscle cars. It starts with an M too, muscle cars. And then if you are a sports fan, I would assume you pull for a team that's heyday was back in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. So somebody like the Steelers or the Cowboys or even like the Yankees or something, though I guess their heyday was kind of permanent. But anyway, I'm going to assume you have these kind of old school taste in many ways. These are predictions, but an outright fact is that you love Bruce Campbell and you're thankful for all that he has done for the horror genre and acting in general. I think he's just a fantastic actor. You probably love his iconic jawline and almost definitely use the ashy slashy hand cosmetic when you play the game. Overall, if you main Ash, you're just cool. Groovy, even. Next up, we have Nancy Wheeler from Stranger Things, and evaluating Nancy mains is a difficult task for me. On the one hand, I can make a safe assumption that you are likely a big Stranger Things fan, who probably just really likes Nancy's character. Maybe you relate to her shy, bookish persona. In all reality, you're probably a really sweet and kind person. And yet, that has not been my experience. In my experience, my anecdotal experience, and I throw anecdotal in there because I've got to put it in every video at this point. I've noticed I just say that word a lot. So in my anecdotal experience, Nancy's are, without rival, the most aggressive and spiteful of all DVD players. I can't explain it, I can't understand it, and I sure as hell can't wait to be proven wrong one day. But that day has not come. If Fang mains are gremlins, Nancy mains are demons. I live in fear of Nancy mains, no matter how silly it may seem. I would fight 1,000 Demogorgons before I fought a single Nancy. Away from me, you monster. But I do not feel the same about Steve, the Hare, Harrington, because if you main Steve the Hare Harrington, you're just a lovable goofball. I know you. Steve mains don't take things too seriously and really just want to speak to you about their Lord and Savior. Scoops ahoy. They desperately wish Robin was added to the game before Netflix pulled the license, and they do just about anything to make that a reality. Cosmetics mean nothing to them, seeing as though all they need is the Scoops outfit and the occasional use of the Christmas sweater, and they're good to go. Steve mains are delightful, and DBD is a better place for having them around. And as far as the Stranger Things license is concerned, yeah, Netflix, bring that shit back. Next, we have Jonathan Byers, and when it comes to people who main Jonathan Byers, I assume that they either have a real soft spot for Broken Sad Boys, or they are Broken Sad Boys. They're also probably not super reliant on change for, pleasure or fun or whatever like that, because they chose one of the few characters in the game. In fact, one of the few. I was going to say probably the only, but one of the few characters in the game with literally no cosmetics. Like, not even bloodied prestige cosmetics. There is nothing you can do to change how your Jonathan looks. Which, hey, if you don't need a lot of change, maybe that takes the pressure off. It's like, oh, I'm not going to mix up my outfit because I don't have to mix up my outfit. I can't mix up my outfit. Overall, Jonathan players are solid and steady. You probably don't see too many of them, but if you do, make sure to wish them luck in the pregame chat and drop them a GG afterwards, because in my experience, they're usually pretty nice. I like Jonathan's. Next up, Yui Kimura. In many ways, Yui Kimura is a mix between Meg Thomas's tomboyishness and Kate Denson's attractiveness. He also comes in with some pretty cool perks, so this is a character that checks a lot of boxes. Interestingly, get all of these syllables in there, interestingly, Yui mains don't tend to be weebs in my experience. It's just my experience, right? That crowd actually seems more likely to be playing as Fang or Yunjin, which is weird because Fang is Chinese and Yunjin is Korean and Yui is Japanese, weeb, you would think like Japanese culture, but for whatever reason, I don't know. Look, again, it's anecdotal. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the channel. So I got to go off of that. But while definitely beautiful, Yui is also grimy, gritty, and obviously tough as nails. And I think that part of the reason that the kind of anime crowd doesn't use Yui as much is because she doesn't look like an anime girl, right? She looks like a tomboy. She's very down to earth, she's rough and tumble. And I think that that's something that, while a certain crowd probably doesn't relate to that as much, I think that there's another crowd that says, hey, that's like me. I'm also, I also leave the shop covered in oil, or whenever I go out, I'm getting covered in dirt and I'm just roughhousing and all that. And I think that there's a crowd that really appreciates that. So those players probably really, really like Yui. When it comes to our next one, Zarina Casir, I do not see her very often. So right off the bat, that tells me something about her and about her mains. Zarina mains are special. They are a select few, a covert band of players that likely operates. Where did I get operates? I wish I could show you the script. There's nothing even in here that it doesn't look at, there's no word that's even like operates. Can I try that again? Can I take that from the top with you? Can I just, when it comes to Zarina, I don't see her very often. It's right, they're very special. A covert band of players that likely enjoy playing a less saturated character. Boom, there we go, nailed it that time. They enjoy playing Zarina because doing so is a statement that they do things their own way and that they don't care for DBD's traditional conventions. And good on them. Zarina is a really cool character with a great design. Her perks aren't exactly great, but she was part of the fantastic Chains of Hate DLC, so maining her is far from a bad idea. Just don't let too many people do it, or I think her current mains will be like, well, this isn't special anymore. Okay, the fun part. The part of the video that will probably get me in trouble. I considered, first off, we're on Cheryl. Let me go on. So for timestamp purposes, we're on Cheryl now, right? I considered doing individual entries for Alessa, Sybil, Lisa, and James, but there were two issues with that. Firstly, I've never played Silent Hill, and I can't relate their in-game personalities to their DBD counterparts, which is something I like to do for licensed characters. Secondly, this video is already going to be 7 years long, so I don't want to add any filler whatsoever. To save time, I'll just assume that Maynes of Alessa, Sybil, Lisa, and James enjoy great socks, a great pair of leather pants, a great smile, and a great jacket, respectively. For Cheryl, let's just say she's a mixed bag with Maynes who range from shy and sweet to literal spawns of Satan. Oh, and as for Gerald, he is DBD's version of Bruno in that we do not talk about Gerald. Next up, we have Felix Richter. Felix is what happens if you gender bent Kate and swapped her guitar for Lederhosen. In so many ways, he's the hot one of the guys, right? He's got a strong jawline, a great head of hair, and immaculately carved abdominal muscles. On top of that, he's a snazzy dresser with a very healthy bank account. And as if all of those things weren't good enough for you, Felix comes with the perk Desperate Measures, which stays underrated. So safe to say, picking Felix as one of your characters, not as one of your characters, as your main, is one of those things that is just kind of understandable. Like, I think it's nigh impossible to pick like one reason somebody might choose Felix. I mean, unless you just want to assume they picked him because of what I said, that he's hot. They picked him because of the abs, which, yeah, it's probably because of the abs. Next up, Elodie Rakoto. In all likelihood, Elodie Maynes chose the character because she's damn near the complete package. She is an adventurous soul, which likely appeals to the outdoorsy DBD players. For fans of fashion, she's not only well-dressed, but Elodie also easily has like top 5 head of hair in the game. Like, I love her hair so much, and I don't know, like, I'm a big fan. I really like seeing Elodie's almost exclusively because I think her hair is amazingly cool. I mean, it's a cool character all around. She's a cool character all around, but the hair is really, that's chef's kiss right there. Much like the sounds Elodie makes when hooked, her players are loud. They don't walk on eggshells, and they're not here to spare your feelings. They live loud, they love loud, they just exist loud. Maybe they even talk loud. Elodie players know what they want, and they seek it out boldly. That, or perhaps, just maybe, just being real with you, keeping it a buck with you, maybe they chose Elodie because the girl's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, which if you did, there's no shame in that. No, hey, there's no shame in that. Next up, Yunjin Lee. By my estimations, Yunjin attracts 2 main types of players, right? Those who love K-pop and those who love fashion. When it comes to the K-pop thing, that one's pretty self-explanatory. She is canonically from South Korea. She worked in the K-pop industry, and she even managed one of its top stars. You might know him as the Trickster. When it comes to her fashion, I think that she makes up for her lack of cosmetics by the high quality of the ones that she has. The ones she has are absolute bangers. Plus, it's just kind of a strong statement to not only loop the killer, but to do so in a designer jacket and heels. Next up, we have Jill Valentine. Jill Valentine, Resident Evil's best girl, is mained simply for being Jill Valentine, Resident Evil's best girl. She is a smart, badass, do-it-all member of STARS. STARS. I was going to insert a clip of Nimi saying it, but then I decided I wanted to say it. I'd say that Jill Maynes made their decision to main her because they love Resident Evil, but I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that when it comes to Jill, her awesomeness transcends intellectual properties, and it's just simply evident to all. That said, I would imagine that her mains are likely big Resi fans far more often than not, even if they're Resi fans who have only played 7 and 8. Maybe they played those 2, they love the series, but they actually haven't played Resi 1 or 3, which obviously star Jill. Which, I mean, that's fine. You're welcome to do it. I'd recommend you play the early ones, but I can't make you, obviously. I can't make you. Probably. In closing, I'd assume that most Jill mains play her not because they see themselves in her, but because, like, fans of Superman, The Rock, Master Chief, they want to be more like their hero, not because they think they are their hero. which brings us to our next one. Claire Redfield. While not entirely unlike Jill Maynes, Claire Maynes likely feel a little more relatability towards Claire. Rather than being a super cop tasked with taking down genetic monstrosities, Claire is just a regular person who deeply loves her family and wants to make sure her brother is alright, which, yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Claire Maynes appreciate the distinction between being a badass because you already were one, and being a badass because your circumstances forced you to become one. They appreciate real-life heroes more than the heroes of print or film. In many ways, Claire players are just regular people like you and me, but watch out, because if pushed into action, they're capable of proving themselves as being a cut above the rest. And who knows, maybe they also just appreciate Bill players who have already likened to firemen. Or also maybe Leon players. Let's go on into Leon, right? Leon S. Kennedy. And it is not hard to see the appeal of Leon. In addition to being extremely handsome, Leon has a large, gushy, beating heart. One that gets him in trouble just as often as it helps him save the day, which, by the way, this is a side tangent, but please add Ada Wong. We all want Ada Wong. I'm just thinking about times his heart got him in trouble. And obviously, that brings to mind Ada Wong, right? So please add her to the game, but that's irrelevant. That's the Leon section. We're talking about Leon. Well, we're not talking about Ada here. We can't bring every conversation back to Ada Wong. Anyway, Leon doesn't care about politicking or money. He only wants to help make his community better. He wants to protect the weak, avenge the wronged. And this in my mind, I feel like most Leon mains are probably strongly empathetic people. I think they can't just watch from the sidelines as somebody suffers. I think they feel the pain of others and they try to do something about it. So I think that actually Leon attracts a really high quality type of person. And what's funny about it is in game, I think Leon sits only behind Bill in the type of players who are going to race to sacrifice themselves for the team. Leon will go into that basement, even though you've told him there's a Bubba down there. You know, no. He's got a flashbang and borrowed time, and damn it, he's gonna make it work. So I love Leon's, man. Next up, Chris Redfield. The most overrated Resident Evil protagonist. I said what I said. Chris is still a pretty cool character most of the time, and I'm just kind of assuming his mains chose him because they all really want to punch a boulder. I don't know, or maybe they just really like Chris because he so clearly embodies the law of diminishing returns. I don't know, there's not much to say for this one. Next up, Michaela Reed, which I'm just now noticing on my script. I spelled her name like 3 different ways. Only the first one was right, so that's obnoxious. Michaela Reed mains likely enjoy this character not for her insanely powerful boon perks, but rather because they're big fans of the Tumblr witch aesthetic. Keep losing my voice here. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. But I'm super glad I didn't do the whole roster. Whether or not they believe in astrology is irrelevant. Like a politician wearing a crucifix, it's all about the aesthetic. Bouncy orange ringlets, an oversized witch hat, and glasses that wouldn't be out of place at Hogwarts. Michaela comes together to make this really, really strong look. I mean, she is a really well-designed survivor, and I think people are drawn to that. Also, look for her to join Dwight and Fang in the billion-plus cosmetic club within the next year or two, which is going to be icing on the cake for Michaela mains. Next up, we have Jonah Vasquez. We are in the home stretch here, so thank you for hanging on with me. I would have to assume that Jonah Vasquez mains really like their phones. I mean, who brings their phone into the fog, right? The cell service has got to be terrible. Or maybe it's a tablet, but I don't care. My point stands. Even so, Jonah is a bit of a diamond in the rough as far as DBD characters are concerned. He was initially clowned for his design, which doesn't not resemble a certain Flavor Town obsessed chef. Jonah has since faded into obscurity. He's appreciated and loved by only a small base of players. And those players have good eyes, it turns out, because Jonah, he's actually pretty cool. His cosmetics and perks are by no means groundbreaking, but they're fine for what they are, and for some, they're likely just right. Jonah mains don't need to be the center of attention. They don't need to be the trendy character or the one that everybody's talking about, right? All they really want is to play the game and to be given a chance to prove themselves. And when given that chance, I have a strong feeling they'll deliver. Also, they want their boon exponential to like at least get value once every 3 games or so, which good luck. Next up, we have the last one actually, Yoichi Asakawa. And I would say that, you know, I mean, look, he's the most recent survivor as of the time of recording. Now, there have been leaks as to who might be coming. I don't care. We're not going off of leaks. So right now, at the time of recording, he is our newest survivor. And given that he's the newest survivor, Yoichi hasn't had nearly enough time to carve out a definite identity for himself as far as his mains are concerned. I would assume that his mains are fearless, given that all of his outfits are either bright yellow or bright orange. You may as well be a walking flare for flare. Oh my gosh, the South came out of me there. A walking flare for nearby killers. And I would say that his mains are likely attracted to the character because of his loving, protective nature, his kind nature. But how many times can I do this with my shoulder? Like, we don't know. There only time will tell. For now, I just want to be thankful that Ringu is in DBD. And I think in time I'll have more definite opinions on Yoichi. But, you know, the initial read of Yoichi would be that, I don't know. I like Yoichis. I've yet to encounter like many toxic Yoichis. So yeah, I don't know. We'll just call it that and say that Yoichi mains are nice. We ended on a very positive note. And speaking of that, I said we're ending it. We are ending it. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hey, like and comment. And before you click off, I'm asking you not to. I'm asking you not to. One big thing. I've been told I do not advertise this broadly enough. So I have a Twitch channel. I have a Twitch channel. It is das_food, which is a Twitch channel. We stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually DBD. Here lately, it's been a little bit of Lego Star Wars. Slight problem, but I hope you stop by. I hope you pop in and you say hello, because I always love hearing that people are here from the YouTube channel. But if not, hey, maybe like and subscribe this video. Share it with your friends. Spread the good word. We're trying to grow around here. We're trying to, you know, make some of that sweet YouTube dinero. But that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for me. I don't really have anything clever to end this one on, so just thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I think you are neat no matter who you main, more so than others for some of them, I suppose, but either way, I do appreciate the heck out of you. And again, let me know if you want to see the killer version of this. But until next time, I've been Das Food. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my